Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. It's everything you never needed to know. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
What will happen to you if you eat a big bunch of raw lima beans?
I don't want to know, I don't think. Where did Sanka decaffeinated coffee come from?
Sanka?
You're welcome. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And this week, we scoured the internet to find out these totally useless information tidbits just for you.
Plus, we'll answer your question in the mailbag segment like, where did the expression get the let out come from? And this week, something a little new and different, the AI play on words.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Your weekly sweet and savory facts of totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Come and get it!
Oh, it's been a while since we heard her. Hey, thanks very much for joining us. We're really thrilled that most of you who listen to us are from all over the world. Like, it's over 80 countries. It's all over North America. We are thrilled, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's crazy. 82 countries around the world now and growing. Millions, I say, of listeners. We started off 5 years ago, this humble little podcast. And now we're not only on the podcasting platforms all around the world, but we're on the radio, right?
That's correct. Now, let me give you my teaser because people are getting all nervous about decaffeinated coffee. So I'm going to tell you really, really slowly where...
Why are you speaking so fast, Nick?
It's about decaffeinated coffee. So, where did Sanka come from? Sanka is an instant decaffeinated coffee, for those of you who don't know. And Sanka is like one of those words like facial tissue is Kleenex. Like it's a name brand, but it describes the product, right? So Sanka...
Yeah, maybe if you're 80.
So I'll tell you this way. Sanka is my beverage of choice.
I'm going to pay with my Diners Club card.
So in 1903, Sanka was invented by the researchers of the German coffee importer. German coffee importer. German.
Did I hear Deutschland?
That's right. So I know every time we talk about, Germany, the national anthem is sung by Roy.
Right.
Yes, there you go. And it was an importer, Ludwig Roselius. But the first mass-produced instant coffee was invented 3 years later, in 1906, by George Constant Washington. He was reliable. He was constant.
1906?
1906. An English chemist living in Guatemala. In 1920, as the prohibition starts in the United States, coffee sales were on the rise. But in France, the brand name became Sanka. It's derived from the French words meaning sans caffeine, without caffeine.
Yeah, just like the French to steal something and put a new name on it. Like right. French fries from Belgium.
Right. There's no waffling.
Okay.
There's no waffling there.
Well, thank you for that information.
Yeah.
The candy bar, the Three Musketeers.
Yes.
Sorry, mine is not as long-winded as Nick's Sanka one. But
I need a cup of coffee after that one.
I thought this was really cool and interesting. Why is the Three Musketeers bar called the Three Musketeers bar?
Three inventors.
No. Remember the ice cream that had vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate?
Yeah.
I forget what they call that. Was it the
Neapolitan? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Neapolitan ice cream.
It was Neapolitan ice cream. Most of you younger listeners won't remember that. It was a big deal. We would open it up and always eat the vanilla out of it.
No, I would eat the chocolate. No, I would eat just the chocolate. Yeah, I would leave the strawberry behind.
Originally, the Three Musketeer bar was a combination of vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate made into a nougat.
Okay.
And you had three flavors. The Three Musketeers.
Wow. Okay. There's one you have to write down. That's why we encourage everyone in the audience to bring a pencil, a pen, eyeliner crayon, or Crayola crayon.
And unlike Nick Sanka one, you people are still awake and you don't need caffeine.
Ironic, isn't it? So let's stick with instant coffee. The invention for instant or soluble coffee was filed. The patent was filed in January of 1889.
And don't we know it?
And we'll explain that story in just a moment. So David Strang of Invercargill, New Zealand, under the patent number, write this one down, 3518. That's the patent number. It was sold. It was sold under the trading name Strang's Coffee, using a patented dry hot air process, very much like what we do here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Some modern sources have credited French humorist and writer Alphonse Allais with the invention. So, instant coffee is basically this concentrated coffee, milk, and sugar mixture produced for the Union Army during the American Civil War, because all they had to do was mix it with a cup of hot water. Now, there's a little personal story which we'll share with you, the audience, so indulge us. So many, many years ago, I was over at Roy and his wife Deb's place, and we're just sitting there, and Deb was about to take a shower, and she was making herself some coffee or tea. What was it that she was making?
She was going to make coffee for us and tea for herself because she wasn't feeling well and she was going to go lay down.
Okay.
So she boiled up a pot of water and she got the tea ready with the sugar. And she said, I hope you don't mind, I'm going to give you instant coffee. So she put instant coffee with creamer and sugar for Nick and just instant coffee for me because I take it black. So Nick and I looked at each other and said, how cool is that? You open up a packet and you have coffee with milk and sugar right away in the packet. Just add hot water.
Yep.
And then began the quest. And we ended up, tell him, Nick.
So, but the key here is when his wife said, just add hot water, it's all you need to do. Because she had to give us specific instructions because, well, it's Roy and I. But anyway, so we decided, now this is like in the 80s, so way before the internet, way before any other online way of doing this, we actually took a road trip to Washington, D.C., and went to the Library of Congress to find out if there was a patent for something like this. Instant coffee, open up the package, just add water, depending on how you take your coffee. We spent
hours
and hours at the library.
U.S. Patent Office.
And every folder, one of those accordion folders that we went through, we were going through it. And what we didn't want to find the patent because that meant that it wasn't invented yet and that we would have the patent on it. Well, guess what? It was the very last envelope, the very last folder that we found. General Foods.
I salute you, General.
Thank you very much. So they still held on to the patent. The product wasn't available publicly still, but they held on to the patent. Therefore, it wasn't a wasted trip because we had a great time. We learned lots in the Library of Congress, but or the Patent Office. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, if that invention was Roy and I, we'd be doing something totally different. Yeah, so, I mean, we did try, but yeah, just add hot water, but just a long way.
Just also, to add a bit of clarification, before Nick said hot air, like on the show, I just want to clarify, yes, in Nick's case, it's hot air. In my case, it's just hot.
Right, yeah. Yes, he's not conceited, he's convinced.
Yeah, well, folks, now that Nick has gone on and on, I say pass around the espresso.
Yes.
Regular coffee just won't work.
No.
So on the show, we talked about the Tootsie Pop and how many licks it would take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And I think that there was a discrepancy between the number of 144 and 411.
That's right.
Okay. So because they weren't sure about the licks and this and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, guess what?
What?
Scientists have gotten to the answer of this conundrum.
Okay.
Dum, 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 dum.
And what is the answer? What did the scientists discover about Tootsie Pop?
So the amount of licks that it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Yes.
I'll tell you at the end of the show.
Oh, wow.
No. No, I'll tell you now. 364. Write it down, folks.
364.
On average.
Okay.
On average, give or take a few. but on average, they narrowed it down to 364 licks to get to the center.
So I'm going to stick with the instant category here. Instant noodles were invented by I know you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Momofuku Ando of Nissin.
The old Momofuku Ando. Again, reminding me of high school.
He was with Nissin Foods in Japan, where he launched in 1958 under the name brand Chicken Ramen.
What was his name? Momofuku what?
Momofuku Ando. The first cup noodle product was in 1971. Instant noodles are marketed worldwide under many brand names, but it was the inventor, Momofuku Ando.
That's why Ando, usually that foam cup,
yes,
you notice it says Ando on it.
Does it?
I believe so, yeah.
It must be something a little different. Okay, because we have Mr. Noodles up here in Canada.
Okay, we spoke in that's pretty cool, the instant noodle. You think about that, right? This is the useless stuff, folks.
Totally useless information. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Okay, so on the show, there's something really useless. On the show, we spoke about the shelf life of a Twinkie, right?
Yes.
Meaning that most people believe that there was no shelf life.
Right.
And there actually was, and I forget if it was like 5 years or something.
Something like that,
It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it sits there forever. You know, most employees don't even work at that firm anymore, and that same Twinkie sits on the shelf.
From the coffee break from 1957.
Okay, but we know what a Twinkie is, right? It's this this yellow cake that surrounds this nucleus of cream. So when you bite into it, there's all this creamy filling.
Delicious.
Well, there is no cream inside of a Twinkie, folks.
What?
It's not even dairy. There's no dairy at all in it. There's nothing in it other than vegetable shortening and powdered sugar whipped up into what appears to be cream.
Well, if you think about it, it's not stored in a refrigerated case or something, right? Because if there was dairy in it,
dairy,
yes,
is not refrigerated. When is the last time you saw cows in a refrigerator?
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. Totally useless information with Nick and Roy continues. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Hey, check this out. How about instant cocoa?
Ooh.
Necessity, of course, as we've often mentioned here on the show, is the mother of all invention. And Charles Sana needed to use tons of leftover coffee creamer. So his first step towards instant cocoa mix came in the 1950s when he developed the means of extending the shelf life of dehydrated, powdered, sweetened whole milk coffee creamers.
Wow.
So he added the cocoa powder. Now, there is a distinction between hot cocoa, made from cocoa powder, and hot chocolate, made directly from bar chocolate, which also contains cocoa sugar and cocoa butter.
Oh, yeah, because it's a little bit, it's more creamy tasting.
Exactly. So hot cocoa
chocolate
versus hot chocolate.
Well, you know, Nick, we're going to do a special episode, not necessarily the totally useless, but we're going to do a separate episode on dieting and proper eating. I really feel strongly about doing it because I think it's a good time right now. People are starting to listen to healthy ways of eating. Have you ever had 100% cacao powder?
No.
Well, I suggest you get it.
Okay.
Okay. You sprinkle like a small teaspoon on your cereal in the morning, and the cacao powder is very good for you. It's high in all kinds of antioxidants. Plus, it makes things taste fantastic. It's like eating your cereal in chocolate milk. You know?
I love that.
And I'm not a big chocolate fan because I don't like milk chocolate, but the 100% cacao powder, it's not really sweet. It's just chocolatey. It's amazing.
Listen.
Now to get on to the thing that everybody's thinking about. What happens if you eat a bunch of raw lima beans?
Or your teaser.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one, I don't know why you would want to eat raw lima beans. No, they're not going to taste good.
No.
That's like crushing them in your mouth. They're very dry. And who would want to do that? But if you did, the reaction would be this. You would grow a unicorn thing from your head. No, I'm joking. That's not. I don't even know. What do you call that thing? A horn. If you eat too many raw lima beans, you will die.
Why?
You will die because lima beans, uncooked lima beans, have a lot of cyanide, which it releases when you boil them up or cook them or process them. They release the cyanide. So when they're cooked, they're fine. You can eat them. And I don't suggest you eat loads and loads and loads of lima beans, but you can eat lima beans. I personally don't like them, but they're full of cyanide. So if you eat them raw, so if you don't like somebody, and they move in next to you, you go, here's a care package, a whole bunch of raw lima beans, give them a try.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Chomp on this.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We're not poisonous. We just love to give you totally useless information with Nick and Roy. And if you go to our website, nickandroy.com, and you visit the Nick and Roy store, you're going to be surprised. You're going to be amazed. Why? Because you can order your special loved one a very special birthday message.
And if you don't know about the birthday messages, I suggest you do this. Go to, right after the show, right after you listen to the show, go to nickandroy.com, tap on the Nick and Roy store, and you'll see birthday messages. There is a sample there. This is the best gift that you could ever give somebody. And I really mean this. You're going to understand it when you hear it. If you know someone and you say, well, first off, running around to get them a useless gift like a shirt, or flowers or something that they look at, you know it, you get them, you get these stupid gifts.
Yep.
This is phenomenal. It's a mini show that we put together using the year and dates of their birthday and things that they like music and sports and things like that. And we put together a mini show, so personalized, so cool. People are flipping out over this.
Someone emailed us and said, listen, we love the idea, but I could easily get one of those cards where it has all the information about the year you were born. And that's true. But they don't get a personalized, because you said something, Roy, you said about personalized. This is a very unique and personalized birthday message for your loved one. So go to nickandroy.com, nickandroy.com, and click on the Nick and Roy store.
Wall Street, Bay Street, NASDAQ, Hensing, loonies, toonies, dollars, and yens. This is On the Money with Nick and Roy.
Okay, so money.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It feels good in my pocket.
Yes. You're talking about money, right?
No.
Just checking. Just checking.
Oh, we're talking about money.
Just
Okay.
checking, which is a tease because that's one of my facts.
Really?
Yep.
Well, the largest collection of currency notes. There is a man that collects money, paper money. He collects it from everywhere and anywhere and even defunct countries, even like ancient things.
Right.
He collects their money.
Okay.
He now has over 50,000 different types of notes from over 180 countries. He's got us beat. We only have 82 countries.
Right.
He's got it 83 countries as of this week. He has it from over 180 countries, either in defunct or, countries that exist. It belongs to a man named Dr. S. Anthrathran Raman.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. S. Anthrathran Raman of India. And by the S, there's two strikes through it, like a dollar sign. No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
But it would be cool if he did that.
It would.
He lives in India, and he is the man with the largest collection of currency notes in the world.
Yeah, we have a large collection of notes. Usually they're detention notes from our high school. Up in Sudbury, northern part of Ontario, the Big Nickel is a 9-meter, 30-foot replica of a 1951 Canadian nickel located in the grounds of Dynamic Earth Science Museum. So it's the world's largest depiction of a coin. It's 12-sided, located on a small hill overlooking the road up there. The Big Nickel Drive is what they call it. What a great name for it, huh? The Big Nickel Drive.
Mm. Again, very much like Mr. Noodles.
Right. But here's the thing. This big nickel is not made of nickel. It's made of various ore-bearing rocks, fieldstone, and minerals from the Sudbury area.
Well, thanks for putting your 5 cents in.
Right. If I had a nickel every time someone said that, I'd have a nickel.
Well, get ready. Pennies can save you dollars.
Okay.
That's right. In the garden, of course.
All right.
If you bury pennies, just a few pennies, bury them around your vegetable plants, they will keep away slugs and snails. Slugs and snails will not go near your garden if you bury these pennies around. And you know what? My grandfather used to say this. And I used to say, oh, Grandpa's slipping.
Right.
But I really didn't say anything because he was burying $100 bills and I was digging them up.
Right.
No, but anyway, pennies, if you put them in the ground around your garden, the copper and zinc in the penny counteracts with the soil and gives off an electrical charge, and the snails and slugs know it, and they sense it, and they stay away.
Unless, of course, they have to charge their cell phones. Then they'll visit the garden.
Yeah, you know how you say penny for your thoughts, penny for your tomato?
Yes. And you thought all along your grandfather was doing this because he wanted to plant the pennies because maybe a money tree will grow.
No, I thought he was burying the money because I thought it was not odd because he had that hook on his hand and a patch over his eye.
Yes, he was a treasure. Okay, the first banknotes were created by hand. So right now, I mean, the both countries, United States and Canada, I mean, the mint prints money on paper, using a printing press, etc., and all the technologies. But the very first banknotes were written by hand on small sheets of paper. In addition, stamps were often used on the paper as a mark of authenticity to make sure
and
you were
this was in Canada?
No, this doesn't say where. It's not necessarily in Canada, but it's just wherever
so a handwritten note with a stamp on it.
Right, sure it was
like almost like an IOU becomes more credible.
It was. So speaking
again, the word credible meaning credit.
Credit. There you go. See, and speaking of IOUs, my next fact is about that check I was telling you about.
Oh, wow! I can't wait.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
Here comes the groom. Is there an upcoming wedding on your calendar? Hi, Nick and Roy for Tom's Place. If you're the lucky groom, Tom is your best man and ready to make you and your wedding party look stunning on your big day.
Whether it's formal or casual, destination, celebration, traditional or contemporary, they literally have you covered in clothes with their tailored suits and classic tuxedos, complete with all the accessories to help you shine in the spotlight.
Why rent when it's so affordable to buy an outfit that will serve you well for years? For the father of the bride or groom or a special guest needing elegant attire, Tom's Wedding Specialist help you save more and dress better. Discover more, including Canadian-made brands.
Make sure you enter the wonderful wedding contest at toms-place.com. That's toms-place.com to win a $500 credit for your wedding party.
Tom's Place, 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of a Kensington market in Toronto. Tom's Place will suit you.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Step right up here, step right up, folks, don't be shy. Move it! Totally useless information with Nick and Roy present Games People Play.
I love how she says, just move it. I'm like, all right, stand to attention. You've played I'm sure we've all played Candyland.
Yes. My first fact is about it, but go ahead.
Was it the invention of Candyland where it came from?
Yes.
It did.
Kids? For the kids?
Yes, do it for the kids. Okay, so it's a rare occurrence.
Yes.
On this show, as those of you who know have been with us the whole journey, thank you. And if you're just joining us for the first time, thank you as well. So Roy and I come up with topics for each week, and we don't reveal the facts until we do it at the same time. So when you're hearing the fact, so are we to each other. But on occasion, we come up with the exact same fact. So I'll start
and
it.
a lot of times
Yeah.
we'll find the facts in different places, so we may get some more different information or other information. So go ahead.
So see what I have, and then you can parse this out and see if you
Yes.
have something different. So Eleanor Abbott was a retired school teacher in 1948. Well, unfortunately, she was diagnosed with polio. And so, because a polio vaccine wasn't invented yet, she had a scary future in front of her. So she found herself in an isolated ward in the company of many ill children. All of her patients needed something to do and to lift their spirits because, that's not exactly the best thing. So she came up with the idea for a board game and made a rough draft of what eventually became Candyland. The sick kids absolutely adored it. Down the road, she presented her product to Milton Bradley and the game company, and the rest, of course, is history with Candyland.
And because the children had polio, they were usually bedridden or could maybe get to a chair,
right,
and needed to sit there. So they had very little mobility.
Mm-hmm.
So she made it seem like they were moving around the board. So it was kind of like mobility for them. And that was important for her, to make it seem like they were going somewhere or doing something or moving around.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It's just one of those things where she didn't sit down and say, I'm going to create a board game so I can make money. She did it, like we said earlier, it's like necessity.
She did it from the heart, and then she figured, let me make some money.
So there's both of our versions of Candyland. So what is the number one board game in the world? So I'm going to ask the audience to think about it for a moment. I'll ask Roy at the same time. What is the number one board game in the world, in your estimation?
Monopoly.
The audience has already came in with their answer, and the best-selling board game of all time is chess.
Oh,
it is one of the best board games to play around.
Such a great segue. Go ahead.
Okay,
this is great.
Do you know how to play chess? By the way, I've never learned how.
I do.
I
do know how to play chess. I like it. It is a very, very good game.
Okay.
It is a very strategic game, and it is a super well thought out game. It's not. There's no level of chance. You make a mistake, you pay for it. I mean, it's a great game.
Well, it was introduced in the 1200 CE. I don't even know when that is, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of chess sets sold since the game's introduction is countless, because they really literally cannot count it. But more than 3 million sets were still sold yearly in the United States alone. So, yeah, a lot of people, the number one board game, they play chess.
Yeah. And so my next thing is about chess.
Okay.
So, of course, Nick just told you, in the medieval times, the game of chess was basically invented.
Your move now. It's your move.
It's my move.
Yes.
Queen to rook. No. So the original medieval game of chess had rules, of course, and a pawn, almost like in checkers, where you get to the end of the board and you say, king me.
Yes.
Okay, when the pawn gets to the other side, he gets queened. Okay. But of course, in medieval times, it would have been extremely disrespectful.
Oh, for sure.
To say that the king had more than one queen at a time.
Oh.
So the name was given to them. When your pawn gets to the other side, he gets all of the benefits of a queen, but he is called an advisor.
I understand.
So not a queen. He gets all the benefits of a queen, very much like in checkers, where you say king me, and now you get the double chip on top of each other, and he can do whatever a king can do.
How about the game of life?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
Exactly. Well, the game was originally created in 1860 by, you might be familiar with this name, Milton Bradley. He was actually a guy. His name was Milton Bradley. Yeah. As the checkered game of life was the first game created by Bradley, a successful lithographer.
I didn't know he was a lithographer.
Well, listen, laugh, and learn.
I don't even know what a lithographer is.
Right. They produced the lithos. The Civil War dominating America, Bradley he wanted to create games to counteract the dour national mood, right? Because when there's a war, I mean, people are bummed out. So he conceived a game that would provide both factual instruction and moral advice to young people. The Game of Life by Milton Bradley. Coming up next, after we do the mailbag, we will perform for you for the first time ever on this show an episode or a segment produced by AI, as we'll call it, AI Play on Words. But in the meantime, let's check out the mailbag.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
So Howard and Margaret.
Howard and Margaret.
Yes, Howard and Margaret from Trenton, New Jersey. We love your show. And this is so funny because we were talking about games. And this is what caught my attention. They said, we love your show so much. Why don't you turn it into a board game?
Wow.
The Totally Useless Information board game would be very much like Trivial Pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be a smash hit. They said, we know we would buy it because we tend to do that with each other with your show.
That's a great idea. And that what are the names again that from Trenton?
Howard and Margaret.
Mm-hmm. One of our friends of the show, Tony Chapman, he has a podcast. He calls it Chatter That Matters, and I would say to him, because he's also he was on a radio station. We would follow his show on one of the stations on the iHeartRadio network here in Canada, and his show was Chatter That Matters, and our show was Chatter That Doesn't Matter. But anyway, he's an entrepreneur. He comments on that. He just knows a lot about marketing, and he said that we should have a Totally Useless Information board game. So it's something that we can develop, and I think that we will endeavor something like that. And we'll thank you for that suggestion. We'll
Wouldn't
keep
that
you
be
up.
cool?
Yeah, it is. And here's the thing. I think the point of the game will be useless because you don't get anywhere. You don't win. You just
you don't
playing.
win anything.
That's right. You just keep playing until you don't want. Then you stop.
Right. Well, you win knowledge, and you'll probably be naked by the time it's over.
Right. Well, that's not the official rules. My mailbag comes from Elizabeth from St. Catharines, Ontario. Hi, Nick and Roy. You guys are cool dudes. Oh, you guys are cool dudes. Okay.
Cool dudes.
Yeah, I had the accent
We
the
know
wrong.
she was born in 60.
Right.
60.
Yeah, you guys are cool dudes. We don't miss your show every week on the. Yeah, okay. You know what? And let me start again, Elizabeth. Let me give you some, obviously I can't read because I went to the New York City Board of Education School of,
Wake it up, Nick.
Oh, is that?
Start again.
3, 2. Elizabeth from St. Catharines, Ontario says, hey, Nick and Roy, you guys are cool dudes. We don't miss your show every week on the radio.
She's a hippie, Nick.
Okay. She doesn't miss our show every week, but we listen on CKTB. I know what she's trying to say. It sounds like we don't miss your show. Well, thank you. But we listen on CKTB, which is one of the stations on the iHeartRadio network. We need you guys more than ever now. You make us laugh, and we learn stuff, too. Here's my question. My mom always uses the phrase, get the lead out. And she sounds annoyed every time she says it. So I could imagine what Elizabeth is up to, that her mom would say, get the lead out. Well, anyway, where did the expression, she asked, get the lead out come from? Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Great question. Get the lead out means to hurry up or move faster, with the origin believed to be a shortened form of get the lead out of one's shoes, or get the lead out of one's pants.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I can't. That's the problem.
Okay, where lead refers to a heavy metal, implying something is weighing someone down and slowing them down. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So there you go, Elizabeth. Get the lead out and tell all of your friends about Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Nick and Roy will continue with Totally Useless Information. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Welcome to AI Play on Words. So often people have asked us to use AI on your show, and we joke and we say, no, we don't use any intelligence on our show, artificial or otherwise. So I figured, let's ask AI to write a script for a short segment about animals on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Here it is.
We're here to fill your brain with facts so useless you'll wonder why you ever even tuned in. Isn't that great? AI's a real promoter, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you turn on another show, folks?
That's right. Why did you even tune in?
You want to hear about politics or wrestling.
Right, yeah. Well, Roy, I've tuned in. Today's topic, animal oddities, because why not learn about nature's weirdest critters?
Exactly.
No, wait a minute. It says chuckles.
Exactly. Let's kick things off with this gem. They say gem too much. Did you know that sea otters hold hands? We had that on the show. While they sleep to keep from drifting apart. Why am I in this la-la land all the time?
No,
to keep from drifting apart like a butterfly.
Nick, pretending to be touched. Aw, that's adorable. It's like a romantical movie, but with way more fish breath.
True. Love smells like salmon. Does it really? I don't know about you, but that love is a bit tainted. That's tainted love. Speaking of smells, get this one.
Yeah.
Manatees, also called sea cows, can't fart. Smells like salmon.
This is the funny part. You read it with a comma there, but it really the script says true love smells like salmon. But you said true love smells like salmon. Holy cow.
I couldn't believe it. I actually was reading this thing. We pay money to get this AI stuff together. And this is what it comes
I
up
want a
with.
refund. So I'm shocked to hear the manatees do not fart. Wait, what? No way.
It's true, because there's an exclamation point. It's
Right.
true. Like I really mean it. There's a lack of flatulence can actually cause them to float awkwardly. Nature, huh? Weird. Now, I float awkwardly.
And believe us, well, we're not sure why he floats.
I float awkwardly, but I swim beautifully because I'm usually farting at that time.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why I
called
swim away from everybody.
it's called propulsion. On the show today, we talked about food, we talked about money, we talked about games. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
A man living in Portland, Oregon, was wondering who's putting gallons of urine in his recycling bin and why.
You mean this happens in other places but Florida, correct?
Maybe the person doing it is a transplant from Florida. We're not sure. Alex?
I wondered when he said to the person, "You're in my yard." You're
in my yard. And boy, was he
Okay,
pissed.
go ahead.
Yeah, he was pissed.
So
Alex,
somebody's dumping urine in this man's receptacle.
He started in the fall when he noticed his recycling bin had not been collected. So when he went to open up the recycling bin, lo and behold, there was a nice deposit of but listen, these were gallon-sized bottles of urine. There were 6 of them. So the recycle hauler refused to take the bin's contents because urine is a biohazard. So we can understand that, why they wouldn't take it. But the mystery didn't stop there because the person kept dropping bottles of urine in the bin. Eventually, he stopped putting his bins out on the curb and hoping that the man would quit. And he did.
He just kept leaving the gallons, right?
Well, he did quit because he didn't put out the garbage bins. But guess what? That person moved on to using the neighbor's garbage bins instead.
Oh, no. He's a serial urine leaver. At least he's nice. He puts it in a gallon jug instead of lifting his leg in their lawn.
That's true. Although many years ago, we did have a story where there was someone relieving themselves in the other direction on people's lawns. Yeah. So they captured surveillance video of the man showing up at the house, getting out of his car, placing the bottles of urine in the recycling bins. But unfortunately, the videos are too grainy and too hard to tell who he is. But at least they know it's a he.
Yeah, because they probably got urine on the camera.
That's right. No, he's the
video is very yellow.
That's right. It was jaundiced.
Very yellow and grainy.
Van Euren had shared his ordeal on the Nextdoor app, where neighbors have flooded the post with theories as to the reason behind it all. But even with multiple theories, he still doesn't know why. But he filed a police report trying to get the man's license plate, and he actually started putting his bins back out again because he has faith in humanity, I think. and putting them in a different position just to see if he can get a better video of him. So he's placing the garbage bins in an angle so that the camera can capture the creep.
Now, let me get this. I consider myself to be a part-time detective after doing this show for 5 years and talking about the news.
Yeah, part-time dick. Yeah.
So
that's what you said. You said
that's right, detective.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes. It's a slang. It's a slang. But this is how I think. Okay, as a detective.
Yeah.
I come to the scene with my little pad and my pen.
Right.
I open my pad and I immediately think to myself, we're looking for. I make the call that we're looking for a 5'1" man.
Why?
And the reason is, from the look of the opening of the gallon jug.
Right. He could have used a funnel.
No, funnel's no good.
No?
Because then there'll be a lot of spilling.
Right. Well, no,
It's hard to hit the funnel. This is not a carnival game.
No. But here's the thing. It's not like he's doing it on this guy's lawn. He's already delivering these with the...
I know, but he had to get it in there
eventually.
And I would assume the easiest way to get it in there would be to place the hose in the bucket, so to speak.
Right. Exactly.
So this person is of small stature, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, he has a message. The Van Duyn has a message. The guy's saying, listen, maybe he's watching. I don't know. Please stop. Please don't do it anymore. I'm pissed.
But he's done it with other neighbors, so I would assume at this point he's just moving on.
Yeah, I think so. So
do you think it's a disgruntled neighbor? Who goes to this length to place their urine in a jug? Or could it be that he's just the local milk delivery guy who's just delivering gallons of apple juice and these people are ungrateful?
Maybe. But we are.
They should taste it. They should taste it and give us a call.
Just to be sure. Speaking of distasteful, thanks for joining us. That's the end of this episode of Totally Useless Information.
You know, it's a good thing, though, if they start to receive some dark brown coffee smelling type stuff.
That's right. We will scour the internet far and wide to find more totally useless information just for you.
Until then, keep your urine to yourself, but not this show.
Right.
Tell everyone about this show.
That's right.
But don't display your urine in gallon jugs. No, right. Tell everybody that you know to listen to this show and to tune in. And we have some really cool things happening in the future for the show, so get on board.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is recorded and produced in Canada. For more totally useless information, visit nickandroy.com. That's nickandroy.com.